Thank you very much. Thank you for this opportunity to talk about AcouSort, which will bring the future of sample preparation within healthcare, because we introduce automation and integration of sample preparation. But first, a little bit overview. We were, as a company, founded in 2010 in Lund as a spin-out from the University of Lund, the group by Professor Thomas Laurel, who is the leading scientist within the technology we're commercializing, called acoustofluidics. And as a company, we develop and produce and supply components, physical components, enabling automated processing and preparation of biological samples, such as blood or other samples where cells play a role, or even extracellular vesicles coming from bodies or organisms. We were listed at Spotlight in 2017 and has been on First North since December 2020. And our market cap was yesterday 253 million Swedish crowns. So what is it that we are addressing or focusing on? Well, if we look at the world and its healthcare issues or challenges, if we look at the top 3 killers of why people die in this world, they are caused by either cardiovascular, infectious, or cancer illnesses. Actually, 2/3 of all deaths are caused by one of these disease areas. And why is this? Well, it is very much caused by too late diagnostics, very labor-intensive processes for therapies, and also very expensive treatments, especially in the newer types of treatments. So if we talk initially about diagnostics, then one way to make this a much more efficient would be to always diagnose patient when they're there. When you go to your doctor, you get a full diagnosis already at the doctor's office, or if you are in some other connection with the healthcare system, if you could do point of care diagnostics, meaning that you get the results right away, then you could make a lot of progress and get results for moving on earlier. So unfortunately today, 75% of all blood samples taken for diagnostics, they need to go to a central laboratory to get processed, because you have to separate the plasma and the blood cells to be able to do the diagnostic tests that the doctor requests. And this takes time and is not very efficient. In cell therapy, there is a global market also increasing really rapidly. It's about $20 billion today, and will increase to about 60 billion in 2030. And this is caused by new types of cell therapies that I'll go a little bit more into. However, the drawback of these new and very efficient cell therapies, specifically targeting cancer, is that they cost around $500,000 for only one treatment to one patient. So as of now, they are definitely not mainstream. But to enable a much more smooth diagnostic testing and also cell therapies, AcouSort is going to provide integrated and automated sample preparation solutions that will enable the rapid and precise diagnostics and therapeutics required. So what we are going to do in the future is to be the providers of the picks and shovels, as it's called, sort of the tools that are needed to just get the work done. Today, picks and shovels within the field of cell therapies, to take an example, are pipettes, centrifuges, microscopes, syringes, glassware, and so on and so on. And all this has to be handled generally very manually. And for point of care diagnostics, the same thing. there is no cell laboratory available close to the patient usually. So therefore, automated sample preparation is required for blood testing, and centrifugation and sample pipetting must be replaced. And also for autologous cell therapy, autologous means that you use the patient's own immune system to cure the cancer. Then cell processing must be done in closed and sterile system to enable an efficient and also safe processing of those patient cells. Here, automated sample processing is also required to avoid interaction with humans carrying potential bacteria into the samples. And again, centrifugation and sample pipetting must be replaced. And this is exactly what we can provide. AcouSort can provide the critical picks and shovels in the future's automated biosample processing. But let's take a quick look at the one of the most common cell therapies that exists. We have a little bit more than a handful of this type of cell therapies that are now being approved for actual clinical use, and there are in the hundreds of more on the way. Initially, these target blood cancer only, but also solid tumor-based cancers are targeted in the research projects. The idea is, as I mentioned, you have a cancer patient, you extract some white blood cells, immune cells from the patient, you separate out the ones that you want to use for your treatment, in this case, the so-called T cells. Then you train these cells, meaning that you slightly modify the genome, and then you can say you train the cells to recognize the malicious cells represented by the cancer cells in the body. Then you expand the number of cells you have by cell multiplication, and you re-administer those trained cells back to the patient, and then they will attack the cancer and simply destroy it. This is a fantastic way of treating cancer, and so far only blood cancer, but still the only problem is that it is really very expensive and also quite labor intensive, because most of this entire set of processes are done manually. But let me then try to explain how we attack the issue. So let's start looking at the upper right corner where there's a video, and when I turn it on here, blood will flow in from the left, and when we turn on the ultrasound represented in this chip, we create a standing wave that will focus all the heavier cells to the center, and as you see, they now flow out in the center outlet, while lighter blood cells, like the white blood cells, would flow out to the sides. In this way, we can separate the different types of cells, or we can, as I indicate in the lower left corner, showing the schematics of this device, we can move cells from one liquid, the yellow liquid in the background, to a blue liquid that comes in a second inlet. And in this way, we can wash cells on up-concentrate cells, which are exactly the types of basic processes that are required again and again and again when you do these kind of treatments or processes for the treatment. The way we want to make a business out of this, our business strategy, is to actually provide these kind of physical components to our customers, and we work with customers that are life science companies providing you could call it, final systems to customers in clinics. And in this way, we become the provider of the separation modules that are consumable. We call them OEM separation modules, because they are critical components that will then be brought into our partners' systems, and consumables, meaning that because they are in contact with the patient samples, they will be used only for one patient. So we will provide these for each and every process, each and every patient that has this type of treatment. We already today have 3 examples of such OEM components. The first one we call the AcouPlasma Optical, where we can provide optical access to blood plasma in such a component. We have the AcouWash component in the middle, which is the physical implementation of the one I showed on the previous slide. And then we have the AcouTrap in the to the right, where we can hold cell populations against the flow in an acoustic trap, and then either change the background liquid, we can expose it to various agents or other processes that are required. We also have 2 benchtop systems that we provide to researchers and to collaborators. So these kind of OEM modules can be tested and used and developed in benchtop systems before, you could say, our partners develop their own systems using them. So as I approach the end of my talk, I would like to just focus on the major highlights that the company has achieved during 2023. And the first one is related to a collaboration that we initiated some years ago, and where we collaborate with a partner within the diagnostic field, and they actually achieved the FDA 510(k) approval for their diagnostic device now containing our technology. So this happened in the in August, so in the late summer. And this is the very first time in history that acoustic has been approved for clinical use, and we are really proud of this achievement. The commercial phase of this collaboration will start 1st of January and 24. And as we mentioned, as we reported in a press release coming out last night. Worldwide launch of this system awaits regulatory approvals in other markets than the American, but it becomes a really commercial collaboration from the new year. The second major highlight is that we have a development project ongoing with a global partner targeting cell therapy. And in this project that we have run for about a year and a half now, we passed, you could say, the robustness challenges that is required by the partner for being able to use our technology. And we have also successfully delivered to the partner a test systems, which they are now in the progress of testing and evaluating. So the next step in the collaboration we are specifically discussing at the moment, and we look forward to being able to report more on this in the new year. And then, of course, we closed a very successful closing of a 25 million rights issue the 30th of November. It was 100% subscribed, so we received all the proceeds. And it also included an option program that will or may provide us additional 11.8 million in March of 25. And with all this combined, it provides a runway for the company for at least the next couple of years. So with this, I am looking forward to any questions there might be. Maybe the wrap-up should just summarize that we have a validated technology in the commercial expansion phase, that we can improve the management of severe diseases. We enable development of the next generation of diagnostic and therapeutic systems, and we are part of 2 fast-growing markets, and have a highly scalable business model as we provide consumable elements to this market. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for that, Torsten. Very interesting. And I just have I will start with a top-down question here.
Yes.
What kind of trends would we see in the life science community? Because as you're right in the middle of it, and you mentioned the manual handling of the samples, it's expensive. And you have one slide with the names of picks and shovels here. There is a trend going into automation. Is that correct? And how would you say that you fit in?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a very general mega trend which bears the heading point of care testing. And of course, that just means you want to move diagnostic tests close to the patient compared to doing the actual analysis of samples at central laboratories. But that's easily said. But when you want to actually do it in the real world, it will require a lot of automation of the processes that are otherwise done or more manually in the laboratory environments. And we fit into this trend really, really well. And at the exact same way, we have these new cell therapies coming out, and they are being approved. I think it's 6 or 7 right now. And if you just focus on the T cell therapies, there are about 600 in the clinical phase 1, 2, or 3, and they will. Some of those will become approved the next few years. And this is all fine, except that it's too expensive. So there is another mega trend to make this really much more available for the masses, not just for the very wealthy. Then we need to automate and enclose the processes so they are protected from potential contamination and can be done a lot cheaper than the $500,000 that it is today. Maybe 5 or 10 times cheaper.
So it seems like the AcouSort method and the products would be crucial for the let's say the change in the megatrend. Would that be correct?
Yes, at least we represent a very obvious solution. Of course, there are other approaches, but they are mostly trying to use 19th century technology and combine it with the robotics and place it in large rooms that you could call it seal off. But you can say we represent the future, you can say microfluidic approach, where things can be miniaturized and enclosed in much smaller units, also to be placed next or near patients.
So that would probably be a reason why you managed to achieve 100% subscribe rights here, that people would like to invest in the future, as it were, although it will take some time because you need the FDA approvals and so on. Is that a correct summary?
Yes, it's a very right summary. Well, except you can say if you want to develop a new diagnostic approach or a diagnostic method, it is true that it's a very cumbersome FDA approval that lies, you can say, between the idea and the development and the final commercialization. This FDA approval is taken care of always by our partners, not by us, but it still takes time. But in the cell therapy area, it's a little bit different because it's a completely new field. And of course, the actual, you could call it treatment, needs to be approved by the FDA. But this is basically something which is done in a research type of environment, while what we represent is, you can say, the production infrastructure to actually then do those or implement those cell therapies that are being approved by the FDA. So as long as we and our partners fulfill what we could call good manufacturing practices, like is in place for, you can say, all medical or pharmaceutical productions, then we're good to go, you could say. And then so I think the timeline for this is a lot shorter than if we talk about the diagnostic field. I think the partners we talk with have an ambition that we should be on the market with something, the first products in this already in 26, at least 27.
So will it be fair to say that you will provide your partners with the marketing, and they will walk through the FDA jungle, as it were, and approach the clients, or will there be any other method there?
Yeah, no, we will be the sub-suppliers to the big system providers, the life science system providers out there, and I would say the cell therapy market is going to be dominated by somewhere between 5 and 10 big players, and we hope to be supplying, well, at least half of them with this solution, the picks and shovels that are needed.
And I got some questions online here. Considering 20% of the emission is going towards production line, does this mean we can expect AcouSort to produce modules in the near future?
We have a capacity right now to produce components up to around 100,000 per year. Now, when we say that 20% is going to be used in the production area, it's also because we need to prepare ourselves for producing not only the Acuplasma optical that we already are ready to produce under ISO 13485, but also other separation modules like the ones required for the cell therapy. So this funding is not only for, you could say, the raw production, but also to prepare ourselves to actually being able to do the production under the right quality assurance system.
And I have a question here regarding collaboration with companies from Japan and California, and are there more cell therapist companies that you are interacting with? So let me rephrase that question from the audience and said, are you in any way restricted by your partnership to look for partners elsewhere?
No, I mean, within cell therapies, we are so far not restricted by anything. We have this ongoing collaboration, but no, you could say no ties attached, except that you can say we have an obligation to provide them with the products when and if they need them. We are also discussing with other cell therapy companies about doing initially some, you could call them feasibility studies, to you can say demonstrate or document that our picks and shovels really do the job as they require it to be done.
And I will wrap up with one question here regarding ongoing discussions with potential partners relative to exomes and bacteria. Sepsis bacteria. Yeah. So I guess that's a little bit of a technical question, but I think you're the right man for it.
Yes. I showed on one of my previous slides one of the modules that we have is called the AccuTrap module, and this module can actually trap not only cells, biological cells as we know them, but can also trap nanoparticles that are called exosomes or extracellular vesicles. And these are like letters or parcels, like PostNord is a system for us humans to interact with letters or parcels before emails were invented. And the body has the exosomes and the vesicles to do the same thing within the body. And now if there is a lot of research in this field trying to use, you could say, to intercept this communication and read out potential issues, health issues in the body. And this is one of the big research area within future diagnostics. And we are well prepared in this field, and we have a very big EU-funded project that hopefully will enable us to also provide picks and shovels in this new and exciting field in the future.
Interesting. So there will be more in new fields. That's good. And if anyone has any more questions, where shall we forward them? Towards your webpage, to the investor side, or anywhere else?
Yeah, I mean, anyone can always write to info@acousort.com, and then we will take care of any questions there. And of course, our share is available at First North. So please be welcome to either contact us with more questions or participate in this journey together with us by investing in the company.
Well, and with that, I will thank you, Torsten, and not that you need it, but best of luck going forward. Och med detta så